It is 7 o'clock, time to begin the June meeting of the Board of County Commissioners of Williamson County. We'll call the meeting to order. At this time, I will ask you to please stand. Our invocation will be led by Commissioner Ricky Jones and pledged to the flag by Commissioner Cheryl Wilson.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the many, many blessings that you have given us. And we ask that you be with each of us tonight as county commissioners as we go about our county's business. We ask that you also be with all of our leaders of our great country. Be with our young men and women that are overseas fighting for our freedoms. And we ask that you bless them. And be with us again tonight as we go about our business. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Seated, please. This time, Ms. Anderson will accept the roll. If you're present, press your yes button, your white button, to indicate your attendance this evening.
We have 24 present.
Thank you. 24 present. Certainly good to have everyone here tonight, and those that have been traveling back and those that have been sick back with us. Certainly good to have each of you back. The approval of the minutes of the regular May 14, 2007 County Commission meeting. Copies were mailed to each one of you. Entertain a motion to accept.
Move approval.
Commissioner Chalfant. Who was the second? Commissioner Davis the second to accept the approval of the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Show it unanimous. Introduction, acceptance of the Highway Commission minutes. These were sent out to you. I'll entertain a motion to accept those. Commissioner Mills. Commissioner Little the second. Commissioner Russell Little the second. Any discussion? All in favor of accepting the Highway Commission minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Show it unanimous adoption of the Highway Commission minutes. There is no citizens communication. No one signed up this evening, so we'll move on into communications and messages. Let me take care of a few items as we start tonight. Remind each of you in the audience that this is the legislative session of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners. We'd ask you, if you do have a pager, if you'd please turn it off. If you have a phone, please take care of that as well and assist us in that effort. We have two late filed resolutions, 6-0725. If you would look at that resolution, 60725 is a resolution transferring funds in major categories of the 2006-07 County General Fund budget. As it's late filed, is there any objection to hearing 60725 this evening? I see no objection, so we will add 60725 at the end of the funding resolutions. We'll take that under consideration under that section. We also have resolution on the interlocal agreement, 60726. And each of you have a copy of that laying at your place this evening. This is a resolution authorizing the county mayor to enter to an interlocal agreement with the cities receiving a share of the adequate schools facilities tax. Any objection to hearing 60726 this evening? I see no objection, so we'll add that resolution to the agenda as well. You also should, at your place, we'll be looking at this later on this evening for the resolution. We're talking about the speed limits that Commissioners Williams and Commissioners Brockman is sponsoring. 60723. You'll find a listing of the roads that will be impacted by this change in the speed limit that's on your desk. It looks like this. It's a list of those roads impacted by that change in that resolution. We'll move on to communications and messages. This time I'll recognize Mayor Anderson.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Very first thing we'll do is let David give you the financial overview.
He skipped ahead. Not ready for that.
Mr. Coleman corrected me. I'm doing the proclamations, right?
Yes, sir. Well, you're jumping ahead of us a bit.
That's the first mistake today that I'm...
Proclamation declaring June 17th.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, let me ask Bill Jorgensen and several of the amateur firemen, they're all here, if they would come up. As they are coming up, we are about to read a proclamation acknowledging the Amateur Radio Week here in this next week, and if you would indulge me as I read this. Whereas there are approximately 300 federally licensed amateur radio operators residing in Williamson County, more than 60 of whom are active members of the Williamson County Amateur Radio Service, We Cares, and whereas W Cares members have consistently demonstrated their commitment to public service by willingly volunteering their individual time and utilizing their personal radio equipment at no cost for the benefit of the citizens of Williamson County in order to provide a source of reliable radio communications, supporting during natural disasters or other public emergency situations. And whereas, in addition to their regular participation in local emergency communication training exercises, Williamson County amateur radio operators also participate in an annual nationwide field day emergency communication preparedness exercise sponsored by the American Radio Relay League and the National Association of American Radio Operators. And whereas the 2007 field day exercise will take place on June 23rd and 24th, be it resolved that I, as the Mayor of Williamson County, do proclaim this as Amateur Radio Week, and we encourage each and every one of you to come out to the Ag Center and enjoy in this. And Bill, I'll let you address anything you'd like to talk about, or Myron, either one. We appreciate their hard work.
Well, first, I'd like to thank the Commission for supporting amateur radio in Williamson County, and along with the Williamson County Emergency Communications District. I'd like to let Myron Manker talk for just a second. He's the emergency coordinator for We Cares, and also Jeff Standifer is heading up the field day exercise that's going to take place this year at the Ag Park.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'd like to take a moment and recognize another one of our amateur radio operator members in the room tonight, and that is Lynn Sutton. Lynn, would you raise your hand, please? Lynn is one of our active members, and we're happy to have him part of our group. On behalf of all the amateur radio operators in Williamson County, I'm pleased to accept this proclamation, and I'm especially pleased to represent the Williamson County Amateur Radio Emergency Service and its members. Over the last few years, we've had substantial growth in our membership and in the scope of our activities. We're also pleased to have received national recognition for the work that we've done in an effort to enhance our emergency communications capabilities. I'd like to make two other very brief points. We are indeed amateur radio operators, and we're involved with amateur radio activity. But it's important to recognize that the term amateur simply refers to the fact that we are not permitted, nor do we accept any compensation for the services we provide for the public. In our minds, we are not amateurs in terms of our communications abilities or in our experience. Second, the growth in amateur radio activity in Williamson County is due in large part to the support and encouragement we continue to receive from Williamson County government, from Mayor Anderson, Commissioner Nairn, and the Board of Commissioners, from the Department of Emergency Management, and in particular, to mention Bill Jorgensen in the Department of Emergency Communications. We have what we believe to be a truly remarkable and effective working relationship. So to us, in a sense, tonight, this proclamation is as much a reflection and an acknowledgement of the commitment that Williamson County has made to amateur radio as it is a recognition of amateur radio itself. We share it with you. We thank you for it, and we hope that those of you who can would take time to stop by the Ag Expo Park during our field day exercise sometime Saturday afternoon, June 23rd, or sometime Sunday morning, June 24th. And we thank you all very much, Ann.
Mr. Chairman, the second item we have is a certificate of appreciation. If you would allow me to ask Doug Hood to come up.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to invite Commissioners Davis, Walton, Brockman, and Williams to come down, if I could, sir.
Please.
Thank you. And I'd like to invite Mr. Jim Cheney from the Southern Land Company, please. As you know, like anything in county government, Parks and Recreation experiences a lot of growth. And we had a situation at our Grassland Park in the ball fields that we have there, and the tremendous growth that they have experienced in the programs. Southern Land Company stepped up and built 2 softball fields for us at that park, located in the corner of Grassland Park, basically behind the Grassland Elementary School. And in doing this, incurred all the costs that exceeded well over $60,000 and paid for this. And we'd like to recognize them tonight through the commissioners from that district and also from this county commission, because I'm sure you all are very grateful for that. And my Parks and Recreation Committee, with Commissioner Cook as the chairman, we're very grateful for them doing that. And Mr. Cheney, we'd like to present you with this award. It says a certificate of appreciation. This certificate is awarded to Southern Land Company in support and recognition of the invaluable contributions to the youth of Williamson County. So if you all can see that, and again, Mr. Cheney and the Southern Land Company, we thank you very much for your contribution.
Thanks very much, Doug. As he said, I'm Jim Cheney with Southern Land Company. The only thing I'd like to say, we're honored to be a part of Williamson County as a corporate citizen. We like very much to get involved on a community level. On behalf of my CEO, Tim Downey, who could not be here tonight, and also the rest of Southern Land Company, thanks very much for this honor. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we have one last thing that came in late this afternoon, and it's not on the agenda. And if you would allow me, I'd like to ask Becky Bromley and Dr. Sharber to step up here.
Please.
As they're coming up, about 3 years ago, these two ladies and their respective boards and their respective people that they represent took a leap of faith on an idea that Rick Long had and Dr. Sharber had on an idea that we had to help and promote Williamson County School Health Partnership. And it was an idea that was originated to try to promote this health in our county at a different level, and hitchhiking and riding off from some of the good things the schools were doing and a lot of good things that the state health department was doing. And these two ladies took a leap of faith and believed in a product, and we took it out to Fairview and we took it out to Hillsborough. And late this afternoon we received a national award for this. And I'd like to neither one of them knew that I was going to call them up here, but I'm going to let Becky kind of describe a little bit about the partnership that is going on. It's a very successful model. It's expanding its wings this year. And it says this is as I said, this is a national award that will be presented at a convention that will be next month, of which Diane will be attending. on some other issues, and she'll be picking this up, and it's for a 2007 Achievement Award winner to Williamson County for its program, Williamson County School Health Partnership, and it's a recognition of the effective and innovative program which contributes to and enhances county government here in Williamson County in the state of Tennessee. I congratulate both of these ladies for participating in that and giving that blind faith that so often we're needed to help our children and help the programs out at the Fairview area and the Hillsborough area. Congratulations. If you don't mind, Houston, let me let Becky and Dr. Sharper tell you a little bit about the program. A lot of you may not know.
Becky and
about it.
Becky.
Becky and Becky show.
Becky and Becky.
Thank you. This has been a wonderful experience. I actually came in as the director of the health department after the planning had started, so I can't say that I had anything to do with the idea, but as it evolved, it's become a work in progress. I think anytime you have a new program like this that is new and innovative and no one else has done it, you don't have all the answers. So, and as far as the program goes, it's still evolving. It basically gave what we looked at were the assets that we had with the Williamson County School District with having school nurses in every school except for the tiny ones. And very few counties. I don't know of any other county in the state of Tennessee that I'm aware of that has that kind of support from the school board and the county commission to have that availability of healthcare providers in the school. But what we found when we started looking at the schools is they were very limited in the scope of what they could do because they did not have medical oversight. There wasn't a physician at the Board of Education to help them with their protocols and their medical oversight. So partnering with the health department, we were able to provide some limited protocols and medical oversight through our regional health officer, Dr. Bart Warner, and this gave the nurses some support as far as if they had issues that they were not comfortable with. It gave them written protocols on how to handle things that were approved by the health department. So it allowed them to do some things that they were not able to do before. One of the things, as you've heard, I'm sure, in the paper and everywhere, one of our main issues was we have a lot of children who now have chronic conditions that, and before we, didn't have children with high blood pressure, or at least we didn't know they were there. And one of the things with this program was to look at some of those chronic conditions, such as high blood pressure, such as overweight and at risk of overweight, and diabetes and asthma, those chronic conditions that these children are suffering, and do some more intensive case management with them. Make sure that all of the children have a medical home. Make sure that the parents know that it's a good idea for them to have a physical every year. And if they don't have a medical home, to make sure that they do connect with a private physician, or if they don't have insurance, with the health department or Mercy Children's Clinic or Pro Health, any medical provider. We want that child to have a place to go when they have a condition, or for their well child checkups, because we feel like that's the key to prevention, to catching things early. So finding a medical home, looking at case management of chronic conditions, looking at interventions. One of the things that we said, if we're going to do things with these children and we're going to discover some of the issues that they have, we want to have interventions. We want to have places for them to go. So we put some interventions into the schools, along with the school teachers, the school nurses, the health educators, partnering together. Parks and Rec's been involved. Just the whole community, trying to give children more opportunity to exercise and learn about good nutrition to improve their lifestyles, because that's the key, is changing their lifestyles. And one of the most interesting things, one of the principals said that one of the things that he noticed was changing the culture in the school, the way they were thinking about health. So that's what we're all about. Sorry,
I wanted to say one thing. This really started with the county mayor having a conversation with me at a groundbreaking. So, if there's no good reason to build a school, it's a good time to have a conversation about other things. And he really had this idea that maybe we could partner better between the schools and the health department. And he got the state involved. And because of all of these people working together, we do have a better place for children at school because we are more aware and more able to help them with their health and their wellness concerns. And obviously that is a big push by the governor as well and has been, and what we've done here will only move us forward a little faster, I think, in the initiative the governor wants to happen across the state of Tennessee. So I appreciate the county mayor for having the idea and for putting us all together around the table, and for the commission for supporting that kind of thing. And this was kind of a struggle for the school board, or some school board members, to really allow us to move into this realm because their goal is to protect children, and they wanted to make sure that we were not moving into a realm where children were unprotected. And they gave us their confidence and allowed us to move forward the first year with the Fairview-Hillsborough area, and the second year with the Page area and Franklin High School. And it remains right now in those realms and working with the children, making sure they have all this access and making sure they're healthy. So we appreciate the partnership as well. It's been really good for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coleman, are you ready to start the mayor's report now, please, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly tonight, the three items that we normally address when we come to the meeting is the monthly budget report that we have before you for the month of April, and everything appears to be in line there. We have some of our funds are already exceeding revenues, and we think we'll end the year real strong on that. If you look down the appropriations section, you might have a question about the Rural Debt Service Fund, but that's an item that you addressed at the May meeting, and it's just not been entered at this point at the end of April, so that has been covered during May, and that will be fine at the end of the year. So there's nothing unusual there that we see at this time, and should finish out with a fine year. The second item that we've been addressing, especially every month, is the privilege tax. We have the report for the month of May. Continues to be another month that's on the decline, not quite as steep a decline as in the previous months, but for 11 months we're still down about 1.8 million, or about 18.2% for the year through 11 months. So I feel confident we'll have a good month for June, but not good enough to bring us out of that decline. So we're still watching that very closely, concerned about how that's going to affect us on the 07-08 budget, and we're taking steps to try to adjust our budget for that for the coming year. The third item we normally bring to you, and I don't have a letter before you tonight for the Cool Springs Conference Center. They're running a little behind. They've had some changeover in personnel out there. But I just wanted to mention to you, through the first 9 months, we kind of talk about this on a monthly basis, but for the first 9 months of the year, we had 7 months in which the Conference Center wrote us checks totaling over $222,000. We had 2 months in which we had to write them a check totaling $38,000. So through the first 9 months, the net payment to the county is approximately $184,000. So we feel like they'll have another couple of good months, and we'll close out the year strong there. So, Mr. Chairman, if there are any questions, I'll be glad to address that.
Any questions of Mr. Coleman? I see none. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes everything that I needed to bring before you. I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Any questions of Mayor Anderson? I see none. Schools Director, Dr. Becky Sharber.
Well, I already feel like you've heard enough from me, but I'll just update you quickly. We've had our graduations. They went very well. I'm gathering the amount of money that our students received in scholarships because it ranged in value from Fairview High in the $1 million something range to $3 million at another school, $3 or $4 million at another school. So with 8 high schools, our students gained a large amount of scholarship money, and we're always excited about that, and I know the parents are as well. We do have summer school going on, and I will let you know we are making a concerted effort at trying to have children in a situation where there is no need for summer school, and summer school has been reducing in numbers over the last couple of years, and we're doing that in 2 ways. First of all, my preferred method is that every child pass every course all the time, because I think that is the way it really should work, and we are making efforts at that. And a second thing we've instituted is something called credit recovery. So if a child actually does fail a class, there are computer programs that can be taken in some of our courses where they can come in on their own time and go through that computer program, and when they have mastered the material, then they move on, and if they've mastered the whole subject, then they get a pass in that subject, even though they might have failed it in class. And so we are able to keep children kind of on track better with that credit recovery program, and therefore our summer school is reducing in numbers, which is our goal, like I said. Thought I would update you on that. We are still trying to find a piece of property for the middle school in Spring Hill. We have looked at several options, although there are not too many out there. The last one we looked at wanted $87,000 an acre, and we think that's too much. We've been told that we could condemn property and they would see us in court and they'd have us tied up for a really long time, and it would still cost a lot of money. So we continue to try to find that piece of land somewhere in the south end of the county that can accommodate our new middle school, and we hope we'll have that very soon. And that is my report for the evening, but I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Questions of Dr. Sharber? Push your...
Hi, Ms. Greer.
Thank you. Commissioner Greer?
Director, I had good comments from the graduation from Fairview Middle School at the Ag Center. I think they were the only high school that did use that facility. And I was wondering if the other schools are planning to use it next year.
I don't know, really. That is an individual school decision, and generally they have their senior class to be involved in that decision. It was a very nice graduation at the Ag Center. It was quite cool. In fact, I thought it was actually climate-wise cooler there than it was at some of the other graduations I also attended in some of the other venues. I said that around to people that might have some influence on where graduations are held, but I really don't know, and they generally, I don't know if they make those decisions quite this early, but they probably will make those decisions early in the beginning of the year, and maybe they will. We'll just have to see.
Thank you.
Sure.
Other questions of Dr. Sharber? I see none.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Miller, hospital report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Just a few things just to bring you up to date on what's occurring out of our place. Our present construction is scheduled to be complete on June 22nd. Now, how big a punch list we'll have, I'm not sure, but they're saying it's going to be done. If you've been over there lately, Curd Lane is closed within our boundaries. Carruthers opened, and I couldn't believe how quickly they demolished Curd Lane. We have more doctors coming. TOA, Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, opened the 20th of May, so we've got more doctors coming. We have put in a letter of intent to build an outpatient services department on Carruthers Parkway. It's just got so much that it's awful hard to do the outpatient with the inpatient at the same time. We're going to construct a parking garage. As I said, if any of y'all been over there for a meeting or see a patient, it's awful hard to find a parking space. We're also going to expand our OR suites. With all the surgeons coming in, we've run out of capacity just about. The last thing I'd like to say is that the foundation and our auxiliary, hospital foundation and our hospital auxiliary, have contributed $29,000 in scholarships to students this year. So, and we had an excellent golf tournament. We had more participants than we've ever had, and all that goes into the Fay Porter Scholarship Fund. And with that, I answer any questions anybody might have.
Any questions of Mr. Miller? See none? Thank you,
Thank
Dennis.
y'all.
Any other committee wishing to report at this time? Commissioner Para?
Could I ask Eddie Hood to come up for a minute, Chairman?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hood?
I wanted to just personally thank Eddie for his work at the intersection of Arno Road and Goatsy Hill. The intersection had a pretty tough line of sight, and I got some calls from some people that were concerned about it, especially since a lot of students go down Arno Road to Page School. And Eddie and the Highway Department did a real good job restructuring that intersection and not only improving the intersection, but improving Arno Road in general. And I'd like to thank him for myself and the citizens of the 4th District. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cook, please.
Okay. I'd like Doug Hood to come forward. And while he's coming up, Doug spoke to a group of the Spring Hill Moms Club about the new Longview Recreation Center. He and his associate Carrie, and I can't remember. Carrie Nichols, put on a really good program, handed out information about what will be going on there, and the booklets with the programs that are currently being held at the other rec centers, and the moms with all their little children running around, including one that I think went through Doug's legs while he was giving his presentation. Really appreciate it, and I thank him for doing that, and if anybody else wants him to come to speak to someone, he'll be glad to do it.
I can't tell you, Mr. Chairman, it's the first time I've ever given a speech in my 30 years as a director where someone ran through my legs while I was doing it.
That would be a first.
Yes, sir, it was. Also, if I could say briefly about the Longview Center so that you know, it is on schedule and is scheduled to open in April of '08, so I wanted you all to know that. We were out there today, and I want to publicly thank Mr. Ritter and Keith and his staff and my Parks and Recreation staff. Everything's going well, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, Commissioner Cook? Thank you. Commissioner Hayes?
Hot off the press are our fair catalogs for all competitive events. They will be available, if they're not already, certainly in the mayor's office, at the libraries, at the Ag Center, various chambers of commerce, and various places around town. We hope you'll get some and distribute them. If you want to register or compete in any pageant for the most beautiful of anything, or the best cooking of anything, or the best canning of anything, this gives you all the rules and regulations. So I hope you'll pick some up and come to our fair April 3rd through the 11th.
Thank you. Commissioner Barnwell, would you just let everybody know about the HR meeting that you called for next week?
Yeah, the HR committee will meet on Monday, June 18th at 5:30 p.m. to go over a policy change within the human resources area.
Any other committee wishing to report? Just to report from the chair, if you would allow me, Commissioner Barnwell and I attended the post-legislative conference for the Tennessee County Commissioners Association. And of course, we thought it would be post-legislative. They're still in session, so we got some very good information. But I wanted to share with you Mr. Doug Goddard, who has served the board of the Tennessee County Commissioners Association, of which I'm a member, is retiring. Doug's been there 20 years, and on behalf of this commission, and Mayor Anderson and I put together a proclamation honoring Doug, and I presented it at the session to him at his retirement party. So I wanted you to be aware that we had honored Doug through that proclamation that Mayor Anderson and I signed on behalf of our county. Anything else? Moving on to the elections and appointments. Williamson County Planning Commission, unexpired term, expiring March of '09. Jim Lamb resigned. The nomination is Holly Givens. Motion made by Commissioner Hancock, second by Commissioner Hester. We approve Holly Givens. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Show it unanimous. Under the appointments for the County Commission, the Veteran Services Officer, 2-year term expiring June of '09. Term expiring is that of Ken Marshall. Nomination, Ken Marshall. Commissioner Walton, the motion. Commissioner Brockman, the second, to approve Ken Marshall. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Show it unanimous approval and adoption of Ken Marshall as Veteran Services Officers. Notaries, you have the list that Ms. Anderson has furnished you. Will entertain a motion. Commissioner Smith, the motion. Commissioner Langston, the second, to approve notaries. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Show it unanimous. Under the consent agenda, these all are items for renewing annual contracts as specified. I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda. Motion by Commissioner Brockman, second by Commissioner Williams, to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Show it unanimous adoption of the consent agenda. Thank you. Moving on to new business, there are no zoning issues tonight. We're moving on to appropriations. Resolution number 6071, resolution increasing certain line items of the 2006-07 Extended School Program Fund budget for Page Middle School Program by $15,765 using anticipated fees. Commissioner Mills.
Move for approval.
Second. Commissioner Langston, the second. Committee reports.
Zero again.
Thank you. Let's see. Education Committee.
5-0 against.
Thank you. School Board approved it 10-4, 0 no. Explanation, Commissioner Mills, please.
This is the summer school program at Page Middle School, and it was started at the end of the year, which is already passed. It was May, and they did not know at the time that the enrollment would be as large as it is. So it appears that additional funds will be needed for this program, and this will be paid by anticipated student fees.
Questions of Commissioner Mills on 6071? I see no questions. If you're in favor of 6071, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Has everybody voted that wishes to vote? Record a vote, please. 24 yes, 0 no. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution 6072, resolution transferring between major categories $150,000 for projected utility cost overruns within the General Purpose School Fund 2006-07 operating budget. Commissioner Mills.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Russell Little. School Board, 10 yes, 0 no. Education Committee.
5 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Budget Committee, Commissioner
Budget
Lynch.
Committee recommends approval of 3-0 again.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Mills, please.
The rate changes for electricity was greater than anticipated when the budget process was going on, but it found that the gallon amount of gasoline was greater than the actual. They prepared for a greater amount than they actually needed because the gas prices fell, and so they can exchange, remove. They can actually transfer the amount from the gasoline over to the electricity account. There'll also be some available funds transferred from the communication line item, too.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions of Commissioner Mills on 072? I see none. 6072 is up for consideration. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Has everybody voted, wish to vote? Record a vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, 24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution 6073, resolution appropriating $5,780 for overtime pay for the attendance office. Commissioner Mills.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Walton, the second. School board report, 10 yes, 0 no. Education committee.
6-0 no.
Thank you. Budget.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Mills.
Now, the county schools are upgrading the student information management system, and this will result in retraining of the administrators and redesigning and re-entering all of the data in scheduling students for classes. And this will necessitate overtime for the people. So this is not this was not anticipated during the budget process.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions of Commissioner Mills on 6073? 6073 is up for consideration. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Commissioner Smith? Thank you. Record a vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes.
Thank you. 24 yes, 0 no. Resolution unanimously adopted. 6074, resolution amending the 2006-7 general purpose school fund budget for the purpose of school buses for the 2007-8 fiscal year in the amount of $1,684,000 with funding to come from unappropriated fund balance. Commissioner Mills.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Barnwell, the second. School board report, 11 yes, 0 no. Education committee.
6-0 no.
Thank you. Budget committee.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Mills.
The school board has asked to purchase 11 replacement buses, 7 for growth, and this would be an 84-passenger bus at a cost of $76,000. And this makes the total that they were asking for. And they want to purchase also 4 special ed buses at a cost of $79,000 each. So that's a total of $316,000. That was a combined cost for the $1,600. I don't mean that. $1,684,000 for all the buses.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions of Commissioner Mills on 6074? It's up for consideration. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution 6077, resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-7 solid waste sanitation fund budget by $135,000, revenue to come from unappropriated solid waste sanitation fund balance. Commissioner Hayes.
Move approval.
Second.
Who was the second? I heard 2 or 3.
Mr. Lynch.
Okay, Lynch. Commissioner Lynch, the second. Budget committee report.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Hayes.
Simply, our constituents have used our convenience centers more, and there's been more trash and haulings, bringing more needs for compactors, and so we just had to pay our landfill and pay the hauling fee for our solid waste.
Any questions of Commissioner Hayes on 077? I see none. If you're in favor of 6077, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted who wish to vote. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution is unanimously adopted. Resolution 6078, resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-7 Election Commission budget by $31,183.89. Revenues to come from other local revenues. Commissioner Lynch.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Wilson, the second. Budget committee report.
3 for, 0 against.
Explanation, please.
What this is where the city of Brentwood had an election, and the election commission pays for it, and then the city of Brentwood reimburses them.
Thank you. Questions of Commissioner Lynch on this resolution? I see none. If If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted that wish to vote. Record the vote, please.
Okay, 24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution 6079, resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-07 employee benefits budget by $100,000. Revenues to come from unappropriated county general fund balance. Commissioner Lynch.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. The Budget Committee report, please.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Lynch.
What it is, these expenditures just for benefits just run more than expected.
Questions of Commissioner Lynch on this resolution? I see none. In favor of 6079, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Has everybody voted that wishes to vote? Record the vote, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution 60710, resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-07 capital projects budget by $567,450 for the purchase of new Sheriff's Department vehicles. Revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Chalfant.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Hester, the second. Law Enforcement Public Safety Committee.
Law Enforcement Public Safety, I believe it was 5-0.
Thank you. Budget Committee.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Chalfant.
This is much like the school buses. This represents 16 new vehicles with related equipment, and the idea being that we buy it ahead of schedule to get a lower price.
Thank you, sir. Questions of Commissioner Chalfant on 0710? I see none. If you're in favor of this resolution, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted wish to vote. Record a vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution is unanimously adopted. Resolution 60711, resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-07 recycling budget by $488.74. Revenues to come from Keep Williamson Beautiful Sales. Commissioner Hayes.
Move approval.
Second, Commissioner Cook. Budget Committee report.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Hayes.
Keep Williamson Beautiful sells things such as educational materials, tote bags and things, and that money needs to go back in the line item for Williamson Recycles.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions of Commissioner Lynch, of Commissioner Hayes on 60711? I see none. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted to wish to vote. Record a vote, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution is unanimously adopted. Resolution 60715, resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-07 medical examiner's budget by $9,800. Revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Hayes.
Move approval.
Commissioner Mills. The second. Budget Committee report.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Hayes.
In the 2006-2007 medical examiner's budget, 45 cases were scheduled for autopsies. As you know, our agreement indicates anything above that we would need to pay for them. There seems to be a need for some additional autopsies to be performed, and they're estimating for May and June there might need to be as many as 12. So this money is to go to pay for that. If you have any further questions, I'm sure Mr. Coleman or the mayor can answer.
Commissioner Davis, would you, I know your committee met, would you report the results of your committee on this resolution, please, sir?
Yes, Public Health Committee was 5-4-0 against.
So Public Health Committee has adopted it as well unanimously. Other questions on 60715? I see none. If you're in favor of 60715, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted that wishes to vote. Record the vote, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution 60718, Resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-7 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $108. Revenues to come from contributions. Commissioner Smith.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Langston, the second. Okay.
Miss 16?
Skip one.
Okay, let's back up. So we don't get the horse in front of the cart here. Okay, let's back up to 607-16. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-7 Williamson County TV budget by $1,800. Revenues to come from sales of videos. Commissioner Hayes.
Move approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Budget Committee.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, please.
Many times there's sales of DVDs and other things that Newt and his staff do provide for citizens, and this is simply putting the money back in his line item. And this would be, I'd be amiss if I didn't compliment what a good job he and his staff do. And personally, I've had several instances where he's really come to the rescue and videoed things that were very important to our community to know, and I really appreciate that department.
Thank you very much. Any questions of Commissioner Hayes on 607-16? Of course, the he that Commissioner Hayes is referring to is Mr. Newt Danley, who's back behind the cameras and running the controls tonight. And Newt, thank you for the job well done running WCTV for us. If you're in favor of 607-16, press yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted wishes to vote. Record the vote, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Now, 607-18, resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-7 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $108. Revenues to come from contributions. Commissioner Smith.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Langston, the second. Law Enforcement Public Safety Committee.
5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Budget Committee.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Smith, please.
Got some donations for the DARE program.
Questions of Commissioner Smith on 607-18? I see none. If you're in favor of 607-18, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted that wishes to vote. Record the vote, please, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution 607-19, resolution transferring funds in the amount of $730 between major categories within the 2006-7 Sheriff's Department budget. Commissioner Smith.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Hayes, the second. Law Enforcement Committee report.
5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Budget Committee.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Smith.
Money got put in the wrong account. We've got to put it back.
Okay. You have an amendment that's laying on before you tonight, the proposed amendment to Resolution 607-19. Would you like to move that, Commissioner Smith?
I make the motion to amend with the wording, there are funds available which can be transferred from the corrections overtime line item.
Is there a second? Commissioner Langston, the second on the proposed amendment, and the wording is to the third whereas should read, there are funds available which can be transferred from the corrections overtime line item. That's the amendment. Do you have the amendment loaded?
Yes.
Amendment is loaded on the machine. If you're in favor of that amendment, it's been presented, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody vote that wish to vote. Record a vote, please, on the amendment.
Okay, 24 yes.
24 yes on the amendment. So Resolution 607-19 as amended is up for consideration. If you're in favor, any discussion on the motion as amended? If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Has everybody voted that wishes to vote? Record a vote, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution is adopted as amended. Resolution 60720, resolution appropriating and amending 2006-7 Sheriff's Office budget by $10,000, revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Smith.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Langston, the second. Law Enforcement Committee.
5-0 in favor.
Thank you, sir. Budget Committee.
3-0 again.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Smith.
We're about to run out of our gas budget. We need a little bit to finish out the year.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of Commissioner Smith on resolution number 20? I see none. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Record a vote, please, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution appropriate, this is 60721. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2006-7 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $250. Revenues to come from contributions. Commissioner Smith.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Chalfant, the second. Law Enforcement Committee report.
5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Budget Committee.
3-0 again.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Smith.
Again, this is a $250 donation from the Walmart Foundation, and be used in their program.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of Commissioner Smith on this resolution? I see none. If you're in favor of 60721, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Record the vote, please, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted. Resolution number 60724, resolution amending the 2006-7 general purpose school budget, $1,800,000 for medical, dental insurance claims from undesignated funds. Commissioner Mills, please.
Move for approval.
Second, Commissioner Tommy Little. School Board report, 10 yes, 0 no. Education Committee.
6-0 no.
Thank you. Budget Committee.
3-0 again.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Mills, please.
The school board actually budgeted for the medical dental claims based on actual claims. And based on the payment of current medical and dental claims for 2006 and 7, there's a need to increase the amount allocated within the general purpose school board by $1,800,000 to cover the claims for that period. This is an unexpected expense.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Greer, please.
Commissioner Mills, could you tell me how much money is in the undesignated fund balance?
I'm sure if the chairman would let Dr. Sharvett will do this.
It's $23 million.
$23 million.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions on this resolution, 60724? Commissioner Jones, please.
I might need to abstain. I might be part of the reason for this, so I will abstain.
Very well. Commissioner Jones is abstaining, so. Anybody else wishing to address?
I'll also abstain, Mr. Chairman.
Mark the record, please, Madam Clerk, that Commissioner Hancock is also abstaining. Okay. 60724 is up for consideration. If you would, please press your yes button, your yellow button if you're abstaining. Record a vote, please.
22 yes, 2 abstentions.
22 yes, 2 abstention. Resolution is adopted with Commissioner Hancock and Jones abstaining. Thank you. Resolution 6075, resolution to permit the serving of, back up and get that, 60725. Late file resolution 60725, resolution transferring funds within major categories of the 2006-7 county general fund budget. Let's see, Commissioner Lynch.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Budget Committee report.
This is, all you got to do is a guess and expectation on every line item. Some of them going to go over and some of them under, and this is just making them balance.
Any questions of Commissioner Lynch on 60725? See none? If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, 24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution is unanimously adopted. Resolution 6075, resolution to permit the serving of alcoholic beverages at the Agricultural Exposition Park for an event of the Williamson County Fair. Commissioner Hancock, please.
Move for approval. Second.
Commissioner Wilson, the second. Property Committee.
4 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee.
Budget Committee recommends approval 2 for, 1 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a wine tasting and wine judging event that will be held during the county fair. There's a number of wineries, one winery, commercial winery that I'm aware of, and several vineyards in the county there, and there's a big competition for amateur wine competition and a wine tasting.
Thank you, sir. Questions of Commissioner Hancock on 6075? I see none. If you're in favor of 6075, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted that wished to vote. Record the vote, please.
20 yes, 2 abstention, and 2 no.
20 yes, 2 abstention, 2 noes. Resolution is adopted. Resolution 60714, resolution to adopt a 3-star strategic economic development plan. Commissioner Hayes, please.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Economic Development Council voted 9 for, 0 against. Budget Committee.
3 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Hayes.
All the credit goes to Diane Giddens for putting all this together along with the other departments. But this is simply turning in the 3-star program that she and so many of the different departments have worked hard. So it's just fulfilling a needed reporting mechanism.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Brockman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to applaud the committee and the group, and Diane in particular, for working on this. But I did have one question, and that is, some of these sections seem to be very well developed in terms of the strategy and the goals, but I was a little concerned about the one that is centered on air quality. Having heard a wonderful presentation, I'm not even sure if it was in 06, perhaps it was in 05, that the chamber that TDEC put on, talking about the concerns in the Middle Tennessee area with our air quality and the mandate that we're under. I just wondered if there are some other strategies and activities that are in our domain as a county to try to initiate.
Mayor, would you like to address that, please?
I'll certainly try. Chairman, let me set the records straight. Diane got it started the first year and did a masterful job, but this past year on this 3-star initiative program, Bob I and Lori Noblet have continued that program and have developed that program and done an absolute job of following through with that program. To address your question specifically, many of these mission statements and goals that are listed on there, as Bob would tell you, or Lori, they're very generic and they're trying to hit a broad range. There are several areas that we looked at this under Economic Development Council that want this following year to be a little bit more specific in some of their statements, and so that we can hone in on some of those areas. And we will try to do a little better job in that. But certainly when we look at it on a county-wide basis, and we are in a non-attainment area that absolutely requires us to participate in that, that is a very, very high priority with us, Commissioner, as you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further, Commissioner Brockman?
No, but I appreciate the follow-up and getting more specific. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions on 60714? See none? If you're in favor of 60714, press the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Record a vote, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Resolution unanimously adopted, 24 yes, 0 no. Resolution 60723, a resolution to approve lowering the speed limit on all roads within the Temple Hill subdivision in Williamson County with the exception of Temple Road. Commissioners Brockman and Williams.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded by Commissioners Williams and Brockman. This went before the Highway Commission. It was unanimously adopted, 5-4, 0 against. Explanation, Commissioners.
This is a request from the Homeowners Association that all the roads other than Temple Road, which is the main road, be reduced to from 30 to 25 miles an hour. And this is come through their Homeowners Association.
Commissioner Williams, would you like to amend the motion, the resolution, to include this list of roads, please?
Yes, sir. I will amend that. Move to amend it.
Commissioner Brockman, a second.
Second.
So we're amending Resolution 60723 to include this list of roads that are attached, lowering the speed limit. Discussion on the amendment, Commissioner Barnwell?
Yes, I think this needs to be amended to take Temple Road off of this amendment. Temple Road is still on is one of the roads they're listing here.
Okay, can we agree just to strike Temple Road off that amended list, Commissioner Williams and Brockman?
Thank you, Commissioner Barnwell. Yes, I would second
So
that.
if you would, on the attached list, just strike Temple Road off of that list, because it does need to be removed. Thank you, Commissioner Barnwell. So the attached list that we're voting on the amendment includes this listing excluding Temple Road. Discussion on the amendment. If you're in favor of the amendment, press the yes button. The amendment adding all these road names. Record a vote, please.
24 yes.
24 yes, 0 no on the amendment to add the list of roads. On the motion as amended, 60723. Any further discussion? If you're in favor, press the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Again, this is the motion as amended. Record a vote, please.
24 yes.
Thank you. Motion as amended is unanimously adopted, reducing, lowering the speed limit to 25 miles per hour. Is this the last one? Resolution number 60726, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the cities receiving a share of the adequate facilities school taxes. Mr. Lynch, you're the budget man.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Barnwell, the second. Explanation, Commissioner Lynch.
What it is, we just have to have an agreement with the cities on how to distribute this tax money.
Mayor Anderson, would you like to further follow up on that, please, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Couple of months back, Jason, Commissioner Parrish, sponsored a resolution with a couple others to implement on July the 1st of this year, the first part of July, a adequate schools facility tax of $1 per square foot, heating and cooling. That will go into place on July the 1st. We have the mechanism set in place upstairs. As you know, though, the 30% of that money will be allocated back to the municipalities that have a 5-year capital improvements program in their budget. We have sent letters to them. We've also included in that letter the Attorney General's opinion that it is lawful for us to carry on with this. What you're doing in this agreement is allowing us to negotiate with each of the cities for them to set aside that 30% amount of money that is being designated to the city coffers. We have had discussions with several of the city leaders, so I really don't think this will be a major hurdle for us, and we'll just wait and see how the letters come in, and then if we run into some snags, then we'll get on our bicycles and ride to each of the cities with your chairman and your individual representatives in your area to help us either recover the money or to ask them to save the money until a school project comes down the pike. As you all know, that was what it was for, not to boost up the revenues any other way.
Any questions of Mayor Anderson on this resolution? I see none. In favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Everybody voted that wishes to vote. Record a vote, please.
24 yes.
Resolution is unanimously adopted.
Rogers has an announcement.
Rogers, Mayor Anderson, you have an announcement. Please,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad he did not leave. There's a gentleman here. This will be his last meeting in his official capacity as our economic development for the last several years, long time. He's got a lot of credits that he could put in his back pocket and enjoy retirement. Bob Icahn, if he would come up, I would appreciate. We're having a little get-together later this month, but I think Bob, if he would, Bob, come on up. I think he should be very proud of his accomplishments over the last many, many years. There's a lot of corporations that have moved here, but more importantly than that, Bob has took us from a zero level to the level that we're at today. I know he's looking, I'm looking forward to looking at all of his successes, and I'm looking forward to him enjoying retirement. And we will take some time to sit back and reflect on that about one day, and then we've got to move on. There's many, many things we want to accomplish, but if you would, Mr. Chairman, allow him to say a few words, because he has very successful in what he's been able to accomplish in his 15-plus years. Bob? Thanks.
Welcome, Bob.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I want to thank everybody on the Commission and those before you who have provided the great support to make a wonderful community. We were the facilitators in our department, but you're the folks who put it together, approved the incentives and other means in which Williamson County is one of the finest communities in the nation. People talk about it being the 59th fastest growing out of 3,100 counties. I'm proud of it. You ought to be proud of it. This community is keeping up very well with the planning to make this the finest community in the nation. And once again, I want to thank all of you, including you, Clyde, for all your wonderful support. And it's been a wonderful journey. And seeing this community grow for the last 21 years, I was in this function for 16, at least I can look on this community as having a part in it with you, and hopefully your grandchildren, my grandchildren, will be able to get fine jobs, particularly in the biotech industry. I've got to get a plug in, because healthcare is where it's going to be. I'm one of those folks in that category over the next 35, 40 years. Thank you again.
Thank you, Bob. Diane indicates that if you would like a fair catalog, there are several over here on the table. Please get those before you leave this evening. And let me say again to our camera people that work for WCTV. Newt Danley is the director, but we have wonderful student camera people that operate the cameras, and we couldn't operate this without you. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Thanks to all of you on the commission. We'll reconvene until the second Monday in July at 9 a.m. that morning for our session that day. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Unanimous, 24-0. We're in adjournment.